Like, I think you would have to be living under a rock to not know that there's tremendous change and challenge on the planet. But never in our history have we had also the tremendous hope of people awakening. This chart, the gifts of this particular chart are truly about fast-paced change, heart-centered change, and so much healing. Just an amazing amount of power of healing that are healers and teachers that give and give and give and give and give, but never really quite get back, right? So for those of us who are overgivers, that's a thing we really need to be looking at this time. Hi there, Catherine Bachman, astrologer. I want to, before I begin this session on the solar annular eclipse, I want to acknowledge the family, friends, and clients and new subscribers to my YouTube channel. I'm overwhelmed. I'm hearing from friends and family that I haven't heard from. Well, not so much the family, but the friends and clients I haven't heard from in years, as I've kind of isolated to take time to heal myself. So I'm in such great appreciation. Just know that I am focused very much on creating YouTube content, particularly for the month of October, before October gets here, and to bring messages of hope and understanding and look at what is our individual, piece of what's going on. How can we facilitate and help with the healing process on the planet? How can we come together as a collective? And so those are the things. We have some really intense energies coming up for the month of October. And it's like, I think you would have to be living under a rock to not know that there's tremendous change and challenge on the planet. But never in our history have we had also the tremendous hope of people awakening and starting to take their power back and begin to move in a collective movement toward healing a lot of what's going on in the planet. I also want to remind each of you that anyone that has chosen to be alive on the planet at this time, and it's multiple generations of people, and it is global, that we have chosen to incarnate at this time in order to be a part of the great transition from the 25,000 years Piscean age of service and suffering. That's kind of the Reader's Digest version of that age, and moving into the new 25,000 years of peace and balance, of a people's power, a people's movement to enact change, to uplift everyone. And so it's like my goal in being able to launch this YouTube and my website is to help anyone who resonates with my energies or my message to find who they are and what is their part in this transition time period. And if you haven't moved into it, I don't know how you're not going to in the next 3 months, 3 to 6 months, or a year ahead. So let's get on to the solar annular eclipse of October 2nd. And I will be putting announcements out through all of the social media that is actually the day I've chosen to launch the website and to formally launch the website and the YouTube channel, as it has this particular chart. On October 2nd, the eclipse is at 11:49 Pacific time, and it absolutely fits the kind of moving into the new. The support in this chart, the gifts of this particular chart are truly about fast-paced change, heart-centered change, and so much healing. Just an amazing amount of power of healing, of teaching, of making decisions that are about, who am I now and how do I move into what I've prepared my whole life to do? What are my gifts and talents that I can contribute? And what I think we're going to find is that as each one of us, look inside and find what those gifts are and what it is that we are passionate about, what's going to get us out of bed in the morning to do. And we commit to moving into that. It doesn't mean it's going to be an easy process. For some people, it will be. And the joy of doing this, whatever this is for each of you, will be a very powerful, uplifting kind of experience, and so desperately needed on the planet at this time. So what's going on? What is a solar annular eclipse? If I can spit that one out again. It's actually what we're going to see in the heavens or in the sky is the ring of fire. So the moon will be a full moon in Libra, and Libra is about balance. Libra is ruled by the planet Venus, as is Taurus. And Venus energies are very much about heart, about love, about values. But they also, it's like we have to find balance. It's like there are so many of us on the planet that are healers and teachers that give and give and give and give and give, but never really quite get back, right? So for those of us who are overgivers, that's a thing we really need to be looking at this time. And, one of the things, I'm a very strong Taurus. One of the things that I have prided myself on my whole life is that I could tackle anything and move mountains, as a Leo rising, Pluto first house. I have had the courage, of the lioness to step in and move those mountains. Unfortunately, I'm in a human body, and I have paid a price for that. And so I'm just now coming out of a 12-year cycle of trying to heal my body as a result of, not using that energy in the most effective and balanced way. So, I am with all of you, a mere mortal that is in this process as well. So, but there isn't a whole lot out there that I haven't experienced. So I will share what I know with you in this particular reading as well. So there is a beautiful water trine. So let's start out with the good news, right? Beautiful water trine between Venus in Scorpio, very passionate, very depthful, Venus, love in love relationships or money, or kind of really intensely aware of what are my values and values of transformation with the Scorpio energy. Venus is trining Saturn, and Saturn is our teacher, taskmaster. He really rules the Capricorn energy as Pluto backs into the last degree of Capricorn for the next September, October, and most of November. Pluto will go direct in October, mid-October, around the 10th, which means he moves forward in Capricorn. And finally, after our election on November 19th, moves into Aquarius for the next 20 years. And Pluto is really heralding and birthing the planet of major life-death transformation. Is birthing this Aquarian age for us, although the other planets are involved in their own way. So Saturn in Pisces. Pisces energy is watery. It's the highest vibration of Pisces is agape love. It's the Christ consciousness. It's spirituality. It doesn't matter what religion. It's the highest form of love, of compassion, and forgiveness. And so Saturn, who's, very much about achieving concrete goals and money and building businesses and capitalism and top-down, responsibility, being in leadership and rulership in a lot of ways. So the dictator would be more of a Pluto energy, but Saturn steps into responsibility and creates structures in our life. So those are physical structures or mental, emotional structures as well, can be kind of walled off. He represents male energy. But in Pisces, he's asked to soften that, to integrate compassion and forgiveness, and also represents kind of the dissolving of the old order, the old male energy. So we're in a time of balancing the masculine and the feminine in all of us, in every one of us. And with Saturn in Pisces, it's the integration of that softer, kinder, gentler, spiritual energy of compassion, forgiveness, and love. Can be very romantic as well, especially with the trine to Venus, can be not just romantic, but finding that life partner or a very powerful mate kind of relationship, or just finding your life passion at this time. It doesn't mean it's what you were trained for in college or in your younger years or what you're doing now. It's really about, this grand trine says, it's time for you to, the next move, the next leg of this trine is Mars in Cancer. Mars is our male energy of action. Mars defines how we take action. So he too is in Cancer is in his detriment. He doesn't like that soft nurturing, that home family, not necessarily. He wants to be out there conquering the world, fighting for truth, justice, and whatever is new and fun and passionate. But the trine says we can blend it all. We can have the strong feminine Venus in Scorpio step into power. We can have, whether we're male or female, it doesn't matter, but we can heal those energies within ourselves at this time. You also have, I want to just mention it, but I will come back to it in a minute. Chiron, the wounded healer, in the sign of Aries, so moving into new paradigms, new ways of being and doing, is sextiling Jupiter. So Chiron, sextiling Jupiter. Jupiter is about expansion and truth and, integrating alternative ideas and ways of being outside of the box solutions. And for those cultural creatives out there and those who have been in the corporate environment or government or any of the corporations, this can be being in leadership that goes more toward the kind and gentle, caring kind of situation, and trying out new things, having the courage to do it differently, getting the information you need in order to feel secure about branching out and maybe taking a risk, jumping off the cliff. It's just, I'm a Taurus, so I would say, check things out, get your facts, and, and if it feels good, do it, But, so we have this grand trine that is really speaking to a time of shifts in all of our gender roles. It's a shifts in, going inside. Again, another piece of information about going inside and working from a place of compassion, forgiveness for self and for others. And again, I will mention one of the tools that I use is Ho'oponopono. It is a forgiveness prayer, and you can look it up on the internet and pick that up. It's very simple and very powerful, and it releases judgments from past relationships where there's been wounding or betrayal or healing is needed. So going inside and really getting clear about who am I now and what is it that is important to me? What are my values now? They may not be what they were last year or 2 years ago or 10 years ago. Eclipses are harbingers, or they're messengers of permanent change, of the ending of 19-year cycles and the beginning of the next 19-year cycle. And this one is, again, we've had a series of these eclipses. We have eclipses in the spring and in the fall, September, October, March, April timeframes. And, the whole planet is rethinking, who are we now? What are we doing? And our lives, our world is so out of balance. How can we not look to finding some grace, finding some peace, and creating balance? So another of the energies supporting this massive change, and this is grounded Earth energy. So we have this huge gift of Pluto, the planet of death, rebirth, major transformation, having retrograded back into the 29th degree, and at this eclipse, 39 minutes of Capricorn. So the last degree of the 30-degree signs, that every planet, every sign has 30 degrees. So that last degree is the most potent. And it's also, I call it the graduation degree. It's like, okay, this is our last chance to see what's going on and make those structural changes in our life and in our world. We just had a Category 4 hurricane hit the panhandle of Florida. Earth changes, earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, and hurricanes and tornadoes. It's like there's so much information coming in my brain at the same time. I'm starting to get my words jumbled. I was seeing tornadoes and flooding and all of these kinds of things. We are having tremendous earth changes, and these are all wake-up calls. And so as much as we can look at what's important, in our world, climate change is a huge, huge issue. The science is there, no matter what you've been told, no matter what's, shown up on, I'll just, on the networks, And so this is entertainment only, YouTube. Whatever you see on the networks, climate change is real. The science is there. And this can and will be turned around. So that's the other thing. The worst thing we can do is go into fear. With Pluto trining Uranus, Uranus is still traveling in Taurus, the Earth Mother, and representative of the Earth. And so as long as he's there and his connections to Pluto can trigger some earthquakes, Earth volcanic, eruptions, extreme heat, because these are extreme planets. So extreme heat and extreme rains and extreme cold. So, but the trine says we're going to, like, as humanity, as the collective, the masses are going to say, we have to deal with this, and we will speak to power, and we will speak to power in numbers as people are awakening and saying, enough of this. The systems that have failed us for the last 80 years need to go away, and we need to restructure based on new systems that are going to lift all the boats, that are going to provide the needs for all the people, not just a handful, that are going to care for the earth, because we are the stewards of the earth. So this energy is really supportive of us stepping into leadership and starting to implement those changes. The sun and moon are both at 10 degrees of Libra. They and this isn't the full moon. I'm sorry. I think I said it was full moon. It's new moon. And there's just a massive amount of energies that are there. The South Node, which is the karmic debris that we collectively have from the past in relationships, how we've been in relationships in the past that has been out of balance. The sun and moon. Moon is our emotions. Moon is the people. The sun is the light of who we are and what is our purpose for the next 19 years. The dark moon of Lilith represents our core wounding as a people, our fears, and what we need to release, what we need to heal within each of us and in our relations. So it's in relationship to everything. Estrella is the asteroid that represents having difficulty letting go or having difficulty resting. So this is really not the time. I mean, we all have to rest. We all have to modulate our energy levels. Can't do it all. We have to trust that there are others that can take up the baton when we need to stop. And then Mercury, the communication planet in Libra. So you're going to hear over the next month a lot of information regarding, what's out of balance, and the celebration. How do we move back into heart and right relationship in all our relationships? And that, it's like we have to get rid of the judgment thing, which we've all been taught to do. So there's a lot of healing of how we viewed the world, and that's breaking down. And so there's probably a lot of confusion out there, but it is really forcing everyone to look inside and kind of decide, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? And am I just going in to get the paycheck? It's time to wake up from our slumber, from our cosmic sleep, and smell the roses. Who am I now? What do I want to be doing? So communication, letting go of the old way of doing relationship, letting go of the core wounding around relationship, and beginning a new process. All huge energies at this point in time. These kinds of transformations and deadly honest looks within require that we really take a look at who we are and what are we doing, and be willing to admit to past mistakes, past imbalances, to forgive ourselves. That's a lot of the Ho'oponopono. Forgive ourselves, forgive the others. And to remember that each and every one of us is a divine spark of the Creator. We are moving out of an age of lies and abuses and manipulation and a few having everything, and moving into a time where the collective wakes up and non-violently steps into their power, steps away from those programs. I mean, an individual can't change it, but a collective can. So coming together with like-minded souls and beginning to make those changes in our own lives, and then demanding them of our government and of our leadership, or those things will become irrelevant. I'm in the United States, and we have a corrupt Supreme Court that has passed and destabilized our laws to the point that we have a corrupt government. That bribery and corruption are international bribery and corruption are okay. So we have a lot of work to do in order to turn this around, but transform it will, because anything that tries to hold on to the old system is going to get more and more painful. When we open our hearts and we smile and we are grateful for who we are, what we have, for the people that love us, for the people we love, when we can move into those energies and become more the family of choice, family of origin, to start to develop local community, local power, local decisions, sustainable practices, whether it's growing some of our own food, all of these things are, going to take a little bit of time, but we are going to see powerful, fast-paced change over the next 10 years. And there's more to come this month. So I'm going to close this session on this solar annular eclipse, this new moon in Libra, 10 degrees. And I will be doing subsequent recordings to talk about some really exciting and shocking things that are coming in the next couple of weeks. That second moon that we can be seeing in the morning sky is actually going to be an asteroid that's traveling close to the Earth. And then there's going to be a comet visiting us, and it's been 12,000 years since this particular comet breezed past the Earth. So I'll talk more about that, and then I will be looking at the full moon, super full moon that's coming in toward the end of the month, and do a session on that. Because the full moon brings to culmination whatever we're, setting in motion with this particular new moon. It will, take the 2-week period of time between the new moons and full moons. We'll have some clues about who we are and what we're here to do by that point in time, and start to implement some of those changes. Thank you for listening. Please click subscribe and thumbs up, and please share if my message resonates. And I, really, really appreciate you. And I am so happy to be back to doing my work. And I also need to thank my son for facilitating my being able to do this work. He's hired the people. He steered me to my team. I couldn't have a better team if I had gone out and researched to be helping me do this website and YouTube, and will continue to be part of my team. So blessings to all of you, and we'll talk soon.